In 2006, Kasey Kahne had won more races in NASCAR than anyone, with 6. Interestingly, all of these wins were either mile-and-a-half quad ovals or 2-mile D-shaped ovals as well. Dodge and Evernham had worked on nose changes of the Cup Charger in 2005, which gave an aero advantage at these aero-dependent tracks, paying off in 2006. But with his hit-or-miss chase, it relegated him back to an 8th-place points finish, still being the top Dodge driver and the only one of those drivers to make the 10-man chase for the Nextel Cup, made the attitude into 2007 a positive one. 2007 overall was a year of change, the biggest being NASCAR introducing the car tomorrow, or the COT for short. For Evernham, there were more copious movements with the upper brass leading into the season, and the struggling early season would only continue into speed weeks. Before qualifying, Kahne's teammates were busted for 3 infractions, and after qualifying, Kahne would also be caught. For this, his crew chief Kenny Francis, who had helped him to 6 wins a year before, would be charged with a 4-race suspension, a $50,000 fine, and docked 50 driver and owner points. So even with a 7th place run at Daytona, Kahne would start off the season 22nd in points. And this was merely the beginning of a nightmare start to a nightmare season.
So we've always talked about California being really hard on engines. It's kind of early in the day, and we hope this is not going to be the case, but some of these guys, they may not have had it quite right as far as the fuel mixture is concerned when it comes to this new unleaded fuel. And this could be starting to show up right now.
And Kasey Kahne, we're guessing engine problems here also.
Well, you normally don't see a car at yonder that's rolling in there. He's going into the garage area. That's a good indicator that he's got engine problems. Otherwise, he'd bring it on pit road. Right now, we got a problem around the racetrack. We got a caution, Kasey Kahne, to bring it out. Our 9th caution of the day, Mike.
Another incident where a driver gets back on the gas and the car steps out from under him. Our pole sitter, Kasey Kahne, hard in the wall, turn 2.
Exactly what happened to him about this point in the race yesterday.
I would have thought that turns 1 and 2 would be getting kinder to these guys because it's shading down. They're getting a lot of shade on that turn. But you know what it shows? You can hang on to these things for a while, but you just can't hang on to them all day when they're not right.
And he was in a bad situation there, Darrell, to the inside of David Gilliland, the 38.
If you want to know what sucked around means, well, that's what it means right there.
See what happens here going down the back. The 16 Biffle on the inside. Here comes Ruderman. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gosh,
Biffle went to move up, and the hole was not there.
He got 2 at once. He got the 83 from the back and the 00 from the front. And there's Kasey Kahne hooked up and can't get loose. Watch his 16 car. He gets 2 at once. Bam, bam.
Another hard lick, and remember at Fontana, California, it was Greg Biffle that got into David Ruderman on that wreck at Fontana.
Well, I don't understand this one. I mean,
let's watch from Kasey Kahne.
Get low, get low, get low, get low.
We saw Biffle coming up. I wonder, Darrell, was Ruderman starting to turn in at the same time?
Going into the 5th race at Bristol, this terrible start was really important as only the top 35 in NASCAR's owner points were locked into the field from the race after Bristol forward. And at the time going in, he was 36th. Luckily, he had a better finish than the others, not really good though, with a 19th place run that put him merely 34th in points. While he managed to stand ahead of the owner's point line, it wasn't like he performed well. 25th, 20th, 31st, and 12th followed the Bristol race before this at Richmond.
I think he made contact with David Stremme. I think he and Stremme got together.
He's really slow down the back straightaway.
Well, he's got some pretty serious damage there. You can see the right front all bowed out.
But right side damage, right front, right rear.
Oh, yeah. He will make it to pit road, and again, no caution. That's okay.
After 10 races of the 26-race regular season, Kahne was 32nd in the points, 317 markers behind 12th place driver and last chaser at the moment, Dale Jr. Pretty much 2 full races worth of points out at that time. This poor running continued throughout May, but there was a lone summer bright spot early on. At Dover, he qualified 4th. And even ran ahead of Ryan Newman and led 28 laps before running in the top 10 for much of the day. But he would come home 11th after losing a top 10 in a battle to Robbie Gordon's underfunded car with only 5 laps to go. Halfway through the regular season, the chase wasn't even in the vicinity of reality. At this point, a return to the top 10 in any finish would be the goal. Starting at Pocono, Dodge would start with new noses on their Gen 4 cars in an effort to run down the dominant Chevrolets and Hendrick Motorsports. While it worked for Penske with Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch, it did not work for Kahne's Evernham team. For 4 races, 2 with the COT and 2 with the Gen 4, this did not work at all. While the nose changed to the one they had in 2006 at Michigan, the handling of the car was thrown off, and over these 4 races, the 9 failed to break above 22nd, including that Michigan race where he was 3 laps down in that piss-poor defense to his 2006 win. Much like the 500, Daytona was the only refuge with a 9th place run. Unfortunately, it was only a brief reprieve.
Tony Raines against the wall, gets tagged in the door in the right front of that car. Also spinning is Robbie Gordon in the car number 7. And the heavily...
That was the 9 car, got right inside of him, turned him around.
And this is Kasey Kahne's Dodge, who got a side-on impact with directly the nose of the car.
It looks like the 96 car lost it, and they said the 9 car got into side of him. The 9 car, Kasey Kahne, got into side of him after he was sideways in the middle of the racetrack. So they killed both cars here. Big damage on them.
This race was part of 5 straight runs outside the top 25. After 23 races of the season had been effectively over for months. Entering Bristol for the night race, he was 760 points out of the top 12 for the chase. And in order to be mathematically alive with 3 races to go in the 2007 system, you needed to be 483 out. At this point, you were just racing for pride. And he did just that at the last Great Coliseum. Qualifying on pole, his number 9 Dodge was just about the class of the field for the first half of the race. He and Carl Edwards basically raced among themselves. 36 laps to the 9, then 28 to the 99, before Kahne took total control. Before this race in 2007, Kahne led 66 laps on the 23-race season. In this run alone, after he took the lead, he led 266 laps. But ultimately, his McDonald's Dodge couldn't hold off the concrete Carl Edwards after Michael Waltrip held them both up. Still, second was a good run after such a miserable season, and the next 2 weeks also gave hope for 2008, with top 10 runs in both races at California and Richmond, the first back-to-back finishes in the top 20 of 2007 for Kahne, coming between Bristol and California. But he was still mired 22nd in points with 10 races left. But over this span, he scored enough points to be comparable to chasers like Truex, Harvick, and Hamlin. Still, it was a lost season that ultimately led to a 19th place points finish. And over the next 3 years after this, he'd have a bit of change of scenery at the team, as he donned the Budweiser colors as number 9 Dodge turned Ford. It was a span of time that can be only accounted to be sporadic, with only 1 chase appearance, but also 4 wins and an all-star race victory as well. And while he ran for 3 more teams from 2011 to 2018 and did finish lower in points at times, I would say that due to both the good equipment and the year before with the expectations into 2007, that season was far and away the worst in Kasey Kahne's career. Now with that, I'm going to pass it on to you. What is the worst season from a good driver that you can remember in NASCAR? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.